is the start of the second video on this small block Chevrolet here. We're just going to freshen this thing up. Today, what I plan to do today is hopefully get this thing to run. If anything, just get it run for 5 or 10 seconds, just long enough to kind of be able to hear what's going on in the engine. And I'm not sure if I verified, but on the last video I did on this engine, this is a 350 Chevrolet. It has a passenger side dipstick. It's got a machined surface or some kind of machine thing here where somebody made this passenger side dipstick. It still has the hole and stuff on the driver's side, and I'll show y'all what's going on there, which is the reason why we thought, or I thought, it was a 305. So let's look at that. Okay, I'm not sure if y'all can make this out or not, but this is the dipstick. This right here, this little apparatus down here is, it looks to me like somebody has added that. It's got bolts in it. I've never seen this. I'm sure somebody has, but right over here is where this dipstick on these small block Chevrolets go. Somebody's put it looks like a core plug to me. And they did a lot of stuff to this motor to make it work in that. It was a 84 Monte Carlo SS, and all those cars in the States have 305s in them. There's some with 350s, but not around here. And like I said, this thing looked just like, it looked like somebody put an intake and a, distributor in it. Another thing that I noticed too was those newer style head, well, I call them newer style. The newer style head, other than like the ones that are on here, most of these aluminum intakes, you got to notch the intake for the bolts to go down in the heads. This one's not, which was another one of the red flags when I started looking at this thing. And I'm probably wrong on some of this, but it's just from my experience. And like right in here, usually there's stamp numbers, tells you there's more information, like tag right here tells you the assembly line it was built on and whatever, and that's been machined obviously, so who knows what we got. Hopefully it's something good. All right, I'm fixing the glove up, and we'll start. I'll put the carburetor on this thing. I am gonna fix that distributor, but right now I'm gonna leave it just like it is. I figured out the wires and how the wires run. We're gonna wire it up and put a carburetor on it and just see if it pops or bangs or something. If it does, then I'll put a set of manifold or headers I've got in the shop in here on it. We may have to move closer to the door, because it's gonna be so loud, but hopefully it's gonna be so loud. But anyway, I'll bring y'all back when I get gloved up. All right, now the carburetor on this thing is just a 4-barrel quadra jet. Don't really know much about it, other than it came with the car. It was running whenever they pulled the engine out. So I'll put this on here. Hopefully this timing was close enough that maybe it'll just, hopefully it'll just fire up. I did find the base plate gasket here. It was actually, I hid it from myself, I guess. I put it somewhere where it wouldn't get messed with. Wound up taking 2 days to find it. I was gonna buy a new one, but man, I can't give, right now, I can't give the money they want for one of those things. Whoever took all this apart kept all the clips with it and everything. It's actually in pretty good shape. Doing good. All right. Now I'm just going to throw some plugs that I've got. Probably the plugs that I took out of it are going to go back in it. I've got a couple that were broke. I'm just going to put them back in there, and we'll go from there. And I'm going to probably try to crank it without exhaust, see if it pops or bangs or shows any kind of sign of life. If it does, then we'll put exhaust on it. If not, we'll have to chase all that down. Yeah, I plan on cleaning this engine up. Hopefully it'll run good, and I'm gonna clean it up in this video, and I'm probably gonna paint it. And beyond that, I think we're just gonna go into the next step of or next phase of this, which is I've got a car that I'm going to put this motor in. I've got to pull the motor out of the car. It should be a pretty easy swap though, because the motor in that car is pretty much this. So it should be pretty straightforward, and hopefully it will be. Hopefully it won't be anything. But really, the reason I bought, see, I thought this was a 305, an 84 model 305, and the car that I'm putting this in it's a 91 model car, and it has different style heads on it, which all of the manifold bolts don't line up on the motor that's in the car. So that, and you can't use the dipstick because of the manifolds, and it's just going to be cheaper for me. It might take me more time, but it's just going to be cheaper for me to put this motor in there because of the dipstick on this side and just the other little things. That other motor's got a dead hole in it, and I ain't figured that out yet. So it's just going to be better to put this motor in it if it's good and get me back running, and then we'll worry about all the other stuff with the other motor once we get it out. I'm not sure that I'll do all of this with that motor. It just depends on how these videos do. If they don't, which I don't know. We'll just have to see whenever we get to that. We do have an oil leak. It's coming from either the top of the chain cover or the front of the oil pan. I'm going to say it's the front of the oil pan. But who knows, I'm going to pull that pan eventually too. Probably going to do all of this and may try to get that in this video too. I don't know. Depends on what kind of time I've got. I'm kind of limited time doing this. I'm going to get my battery and all that stuff set up and go ahead and put the plug wires on this, and then I'll bring y'all back when I get to the start to crank on it. I've got spark plugs in this thing, and like I said, we're just gonna see if it'll fire with a little bit of spray. And I plugged off all the vacuum ports I could see on the carburetor, except for vacuum advance, and that's about the only thing I hooked up. Everything else is plugged off. I think we're about ready to set up a battery and get a little gas in it and see what it's going to do. And I did check the oil, by the way. It has way more oil than it needs. All right, I've decided for YouTube purposes that I am going to check for spark. I'm going to just going to put this little tester in here. We're going to get some powdered oil, and we're going to see a little light blink. You can get these at any of your parts stores. That's Harbor Freight. It's like $4, so maybe it'll work. All right, I'm gonna show you how I got this kind of set up here. There's gonna be your starter. There's your lead from your jump box to your starter. If y'all can make any of that out. And that red alligator clip goes up to my coil. Coil up here, all of your HEIs are gonna have, well, I assume all of them, they'll have a battery side and a tack side. You want your battery side hot. I just put a jumper there. Till I power that jump box up, we don't have any power. So what I'm gonna do is power up this jump box, and we'll just spin this motor over and see if that light blinks. I'm gonna set y'all back up so I can do this. All right, there it is in the bottom of your, well, I don't know where it is in your screen, but it's in the bottom of my screen. We're gonna spin this thing over. If it'll spin over, it may not have plugs in it, so. Well, let's see. All right, we're gonna. As y'all can see, we have spark. So now we should just have to put a little gas in it. It should run. Hopefully it'll run. So let me get all this stuff set back up. Well, I think it's good now. All right, let me put a little fuel in here. Open up this choke. Put a little fuel in the bowl here. Don't want it to run too long. All right. See if it'll bark. Watch out, I ain't got any exhaust on this thing, so it's liable. If it does fire, it might, it might burn me, I don't know. But really ain't no way to get a good camera angle. I think I can pull this thing up some. All right, I think it's gonna be about as good as it'll get. Let's see, let's turn it a little. Well, it spins over good. Yep, it definitely runs. Didn't expect all that to come out of that though. Guess that was full of fuel. Here we go. Let's throw some exhaust on this thing, quiet it down. Maybe we can make a little more sense of that. And I don't know if that stand's gonna do good or not because it sure wants to jump around. Anyway, let me get some exhaust on this thing and I'll bring y'all back. All right, everybody, here's what I've concocted up. This is something that you shouldn't ever do. I repeat, this is not very safe. This is extremely stupid and dangerous. It's just a bunch of junk thrown together. Hopefully this thing will run and idle without having to really give it any throttle, because I don't know. Hopefully it'll stay on the stand, and like I said, we're not gonna run it very long. We're just gonna run it long enough to hear it, kind of get a good feel for it before we put it in the car. Anyway, I'm gonna put y'all up and then we'll try to crank this thing. All right, here we go. And I repeat, this is stupid. Do not do this. This thing can do anything. It can fly off the stand. There's no telling what it's gonna do. But we do know the fuel pump works. So I went ahead and hooked that line up. We're gonna try to pull from the bottle here and see if we can get it to work. And that'll be one less thing I gotta worry about. All right. Maybe this thing won't soak me this time. It's a little harder because I can't see what I'm doing. Turn the jump box on. All right, let's try it out. Sounded good. Hot. Like I said, this is stupid and dangerous. I wouldn't do it. But we know the thing's gonna run. Well, at least we hope the thing's gonna run. Let me get my wires. Okay. Boy did tell me this thing was real cold natured, so It may or may not, may take a minute, especially with this janky little setup I've got. Maybe getting too much fuel. We started out good. I do think we're just playing right now. We're probably just gonna try it a few times. If it don't crank, I'm not gonna keep fighting with this thing. May have carburetor issues. We've got another carburetor going on the car. So. Just trying to run. Give it a little more choke. Got electric choke on it too, by the way. Accelerator pump's working. There's some gas. It's kind of hard to believe it's burning that much gas that fast. It's not. It's coming out a little bit. Second air from somewhere. There. This car needs to be rebuilt. But other than that, it runs pretty good. So doesn't seem like it's missing anywhere. It seems to be have a little bit, pretty good throttle response. So we're just gonna stop right there before I make a mess, tear something up, or roll this thing off the stand or something. Leaking oil. This valve cover's leaking real bad. So anyway, there you have it. There, the engine does runs pretty well. It has 50-pound oil pressure at what I assume is idle. I'll have to go through that car. The guy did tell me it was cold-natured anyway, so it'll probably have to be rebuilt. I may just put another one on. I've got a couple other Brocks on the shelf over there, but I'm not sure what we'll do yet. But anyway, what I'm fixing to do, I'm fixing to spray this thing down, clean it. We're going to mask it off and paint this thing, and that's going to be it for this video. I'll bring you back whenever I get to whenever I get to masking this thing off, I'm gonna go ahead and clean it up. I don't want to be pressure washing outside with a camera and all that stuff. Plus it's 45 degrees out here, so it's kind of going to be a, you know, it's going to be a quicker process if I do it without having a video. All right, now here's what it's all about, y'all. Watch this reaction, watch this face light up, watch this. All right, y'all, I'll finish this up tomorrow.